Hello everyone, and welcome to today's SIA CODiE Awards informational webinar. We are very excited to be here today to share with you some new aspects to the CODiE program for 2013, some tips and best practices for you to take into the judging process, and also how you can and should leverage your CODiE finalist or winner status. And hopefully next year you'll be joining this group that you see on the screen before you. Before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping announcements. The webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be made available on our website following the webinar. As I mentioned, this is an informational webinar, and we want to be sure you leave here with answers to any questions you may have. So I encourage you to submit questions in the chat box on the left of your screen. My colleague Brian Rosenberg, who is SVP of Sales and Marketing at SIIA, will be fielding all of our questions and answering some throughout the webinar if they're logistical, and being sure that Wendy and I address the questions at the end. My name is Rihanna Collier. I am Vice President of the Software Division at SIIA. I'll be taking you through today's webinar along with my colleague Wendy Tanner, who is the CODiE Awards Program Coordinator. Also with us today are two special guests. We have Sarah Lander, who is Director of Marketing at Shop Visible. And Shop Visible is a 2012 CODiE Award winner in the Best E-Commerce Solution category. Sarah is here to share how Shop Visible has really leveraged their CODiE win to promote their company. Also with us today is Richard Dim, Managing Director of Bondi Group and also co-chair of the Software Division Board of Directors. Richard has been a judge for many years in the CODiE's program and has also been on the nominating side with his previous companies. Richard is here to provide some tips and advice for you to take into the judging process. He'll give you some thoughts on what the judges look for, what works well, and even what to avoid. So for today's agenda, we will spend some time talking about the benefits of nominating, being a finalist and winning. We'll share what is new to the program for 2013. We will take you through the nomination process, the timeline, including important deadlines. We will cover the judging process and the process for announcing the finalists and winners. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, we will have plenty of time to address any questions you may have. So let's get started. 2013 will actually be the 28th year of the CODiE Awards program. And as you may know, the CODiEs are the only peer-recognized awards program in our industry. And one of the key benefits to nominating for a CODiE is to have your product reviewed by industry experts. These might be bloggers, analysts, press, or any other experts in the field. You'll be able to provide live or recorded demos to these judges and receive feedback based on the judging criteria. Following the first round of judging, which Wendy will go into more details later, each category then gets narrowed down into a set of finalists. Now, finalist status is significant in itself. Each finalist should be extremely proud of that accomplishment because, again, that demonstrates that you were chosen by industry experts as having a product that stands out. We encourage all finalists to promote that status as it gives you industry-wide recognition and also a great touch point with the press. We encourage you to highlight your finalist status on your website, your staff signatures, company, and all product collateral. And SIA, of course, promotes each finalist as well via our social media channels, media releases, and our blog. We also welcome each finalist to submit a blog post to the SIA on your product and the category, which we will then, again, promote through our various channels. Now, if you're lucky enough to win a CODiE, you will be invited to accept your award in front of an audience of your peers, and that will take place at the 2013 All About the Cloud Conference in San Francisco next May. In addition, the SIA will produce a video based on your win, which will include an interview and also your award acceptance. We'll provide you with a complete file, which we will encourage you, again, to promote through your various channels, as will we. You'll also be included in all SIA promotions of the awards, and that, as you can see there, that includes PR, email, social medias, and of course our website. And just as I mentioned with the finalist status, we encourage you to leverage a CODiE win to promote your company, get more visibility with the press, and showcase that you were selected by your peers. So now I think it's a good time to turn it over to Sarah to share with us what Shop Visible did and how they've leveraged their CODiE win to promote their company. So Sarah, can you tell us what Shop Visible has done since winning this award back in May?
Absolutely, and thank you, Rihanna, for allowing me to participate today. Shop Visible has in particular really leveraged the CODiE win. The CODiE win provided us a prominently recognized third-party validation of our capabilities. And as Rihanna stated, it stands apart because it's a peer-to-peer award, which means others in the software industry have recognized our abilities, which is a strong statement in and of itself. And so with this, we really wanted to leverage this particular award. Oftentimes RFPs that we receive ask for a listing of industry recognitions and awards, and so we use this win to round out the responses to represent a diversity of accolades. We have also prominently placed the award win in the banner rotation on our homepage of our website, where in this location it serves to provide, again, a validation of capabilities for those prospects who may not yet know us well. And then this particular banner links to the press release of the win, which we posted shortly after receiving it, and that particular press release received very strong press pickup for us. We've also gone so far as to incorporate the win into our physical presence, so we've brought it to our trade shows. The winner logo has been incorporated into the awards panel of our trade show booth, and as you all are very familiar with, a busy exhibit floor, anything you can do to help yourself stand apart is critical. So we prominently display the logos of our award wins on a graphical panel in our trade show booth, and it's been very helpful in drawing in traffic and starting conversations. And then the final point I would make is the positive impact sales has seen. In talking to our head of sales, the win has been brought up in a number of prospect conversations, which indicates to us the industry is paying attention, and the purposeful use of our win is making a very positive impact for sales.
That's great. Thank you, Sarah. I think that's fantastic that the sales team is able to leverage it as well.
Absolutely.
So we really encourage you to get creative when promoting your CODiE finalist or winner status. We've seen some companies produce videos showing the actual awards journey back to their office, or staff singing and dancing with their award. It's certainly the tip I can't say enough. If you're lucky enough to be a finalist or a winner, flaunt it. Next, I want to talk a little bit about what is new for 2013. Each year, the Software Division Board of Directors spends many hours reviewing the CODiE categories and judging criteria. We want to make sure that we're keeping in line with where our industry is headed. And each year, we discontinue categories that are either no longer relevant or have very few nominations to sustain the category. We also edit and break down categories where appropriate, and we add new categories that we think are particularly relevant. We never add a new category unless we can identify a minimum of 10 potential nominees for that category. And as you can imagine, this is an extremely important process each year for us and for the CODiE program, so we try to do our best to do the appropriate due diligence. So what you see on your screen here are some of the new and edited categories for the software business categories for 2013. The full descriptions and judging criteria are all available on the CODiE's website. And as always, if you have any questions, you can contact Wendy or I directly, and we can talk you through some of the details for the categories. At this time, I want to turn it over to Wendy, who is going to walk us through the actual nomination process. Wendy?
Thanks, Rihanna. So the actual nomination process, we try to keep it fairly simple for everybody. The form itself is the second link. You can find it there. And the form is about 1 page, and we just ask you for basic product information, a short 200-word product description, a couple of URLs, the categories you would like to nominate in with about a sentence about why you fit into those categories. And once you do submit your form, you can go back in and you can make edits to it. So if you do have another link you would like to add in, or you want to change something or edit your description a little bit, you will be able to do that. Here is the full list of categories. We have 29 this year, and as Rihanna mentioned, It's a very big process each year that we really take a lot of time and make sure that we have the best categories from year to year. And these are, that link right there will take you to all the categories. And the software categories is just one group. We also have content and education categories, and it ends up making up over 75 categories. So we do have quite a few this year. Next we have our pricing information. And you can see there is a difference in price based on whether you're an SIA member or not. And I do want to point out that one product can only be nominated in a maximum of 3 categories, but there is no limit on the number of products that you can nominate. If you're not a member yet, and if you're interested in membership, we do offer a Join and Save program where you basically get a free CODiE nomination if you become a member of SIIA. So it's great to take advantage of that. And as you can see here, if you want to receive more information about membership, please feel free to contact Rihanna, and she'll be more than happy to provide you with information about the software division. Here's the full timeline. Nominations close next Friday, so that is something to keep in mind. We will have an extended deadline period from October 6th through October 19th, but there is a little bit of a fee increase. It's an additional $150. So we definitely encourage you to get your nominations in by October 5th. The judging will begin on November 12th, and that runs through February 15th. We will announce our finalists on March 4th, and then member voting begins on March 18th and runs through April 5th. And then finally on May 8th, that's when we announce the winners. Again, just a reminder that nominations do close next Friday, so be sure and get them in before then. Happy to answer any questions. As far as the first round review, and again, this runs from November 12th through February 15th. So during this time, we ask you to connect with your judges, and you will have 2 judges to review your product. And you have them review your product by scheduling a live demonstration with them, which can be in the form of using a program like ReadyTalk that we're on now, or WebEx, and walk through the product and highlight basically what makes your product so great. You also you can provide a recorded one for them to review. We found that sometimes this has to happen if there's some scheduling issues or it's hard for a judge to do something during the day and they may need to review it in the evening. If you can, please provide each judge with product access. For example, if you can give them temporary login information so they can go in and use the product as well and take what they've learned in the demo and apply it there. And definitely apply them with as much additional information as you would like in the form of PDFs or more web pages, more videos, anything you feel that really highlights your product. And right now, before we move on, I want to ask Richard if he could provide any tips for you or anything about working with the judges.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, everybody. Yeah, this is Richard, and I have a couple thoughts. Having, as Rihanna said, I haven't been a judge for a number of years. Let me real quickly kind of go through what I look for when I'm looking at a product. First, just an overall comment that you're not directly competing with other products, since each judge may not see every product. So what you're really doing is showing your product off to its best advantage, also really highlighting what makes your offering different, what makes it better. So it's really important to keep that in mind. So then, secondly, I tend to look for 3 things. One, I recommend that you have a presentation of some kind. You know, it doesn't matter if it's PowerPoint or not, although PowerPoint certainly helps because you can share it afterwards. And then in that PowerPoint presentation, you want to hit who you are, particularly if you're a new company where the judges may not be familiar, kind of who you are, what you do, what your model is. Is it a SaaS model, is it an on-prem model, or kind of how you define yourself. But I always find that really helpful. I always like to hear about pricing. That's not really for competitive purposes, but again, it helps me kind of put you in a category. It's up to you, but and obviously you're only sharing information which is public, not confidential. then again, as part of the presentation, it's really helpful if you'll hit what you feel to be your top 5 features and benefits. Kind of spoon feeding a little bit, but here's your chance to really point out what makes you different. I'm using the number 5. There's no magic to that, although it's not a bad number. And then follow that up with any unique aspects of your product. What are the things that really set you apart from your perspective? And then finally, again, I find it really helpful if you would share how you view the competitive landscape. It always helps for you to tell a judge where you see yourself fitting into the marketplace. So that's for the presentation part, and I'd say that's 10 minutes, maybe even as much as 15. Again, no magic numbers, but again, I find that really helpful. Then you get into a guided demo, as Wendy said, and personally, I really like a guided demo. Depending on the product, some of them are. That's the only way that one really gets a good feel is if the person who is with the company runs it. In others, it's the most time-effective way of doing things. So again, really like a guided demo. Having said that, I really like live better than canned. So a live demo if you can do it. And recognizing that personally I've done infrastructure as a service and platform as a service and things like that. And sometimes it gets a little more complex, but again, very helpful. And depending on the product, you can demo that both from the administrator or the user perspective. Again, it depends on what your product is and what you're doing. Your demonstration really is stressing usability and UI, and it's also a chance for you to really, again, highlight those key features and benefits. And then I don't want to take too much time, but let me just say that something gets skipped very often. After the demo, it's really worth doing a summary, whether you just do it verbally or even flip back to a PowerPoint. But it's like any presentation. Here's your chance to leave that indelible impression on the judge and make sure that the judge has caught what you felt to be really the prime differentiators for your product. So don't forget that summary. Afterwards, if you can share the PowerPoint, that's great, as well as Wendy mentioned, any printed materials, data sheets or whatever are really helpful as we're going back and going through our judging process. Okay, those are my thoughts, guys.
That was great. Thank you. Now, after the first round review, we do have the finalist selection. And judges use a rubric to score your products, and they also give a little bit of written feedback. And once the first round review ends, I encourage you to email me or give me a call, and I can provide you with this written feedback because we do feel it's helpful for you to see the strengths and the weaknesses of the products. The first round review score accounts for 80% of the overall score, so this is really the meat of the process and where we put a lot of emphasis on. When we do select the finalists, we do notify everyone via email. You'll receive an email from me whether you are or not. And again, as Rihanna touched on before, we do news releases, social media, etc., to promote our finalists. Again, we announce the finalists on March 4th, so definitely look for that. Member voting is the next stage, and this makes up the remaining 20% of a product's final score. And during member voting, the finalists are reviewed by SIA members in the software division. And then finally, we announce our winners on May 8th at All About the Cloud, and this is in San Francisco. And this is a lot of fun. It was a lunch last year, and it's really great to have everyone come up on stage and receive their award and give a few words. Rihanna, do you want to add anything in here about the award ceremony?
Just that I think, everyone that I've talked to that's been part of the CODiE Awards, either as a finalist or a winner, they really find it valuable to accept these type of awards in front of an audience of their peers. And certainly that's why we've incorporated the CODiEs into All About the Cloud, because those are the people that attend and participate in that conference.
Excellent. Now we would like to move on just to our question and answer. So again, you can put those questions into the chat box.
Hi everyone, this is Katie Carlson. Unfortunately, Brian Rosenberg is actually technical difficulties at the moment, so I will go ahead and field all of the questions that you submit. We have one that actually came through, and this is going to Wendy. Wendy, where can folks find criteria for each category? It seems like they're all on a list on the website.
Yes, if you go to our category page and you click on the name of the category, you'll see below the description there will be a little bulleted list, and those are the criteria that each judge will be using.
Great. And also just a couple of other questions in regards to the categories. How many on average would you say we receive, or could you address how many finalists are represented in the categories?
Sure. Well, each year we receive, it varies about how many nominations we receive in each category. And that's a great question because when we announce the finalists, the number of finalists is based on the number of nominees in each category. So even if there are a few number of nominees or a larger number of nominees, really the ratio for how many finalists there are in each is the same.
And I'll just add that each category is different. We have, and that's why we do review the categories each year, is because sometimes, for example, if we receive 25 nominations or 30 nominations in a particular category, then maybe there is reason to break that category down into two different categories. Maybe there's enough there. So it does vary per category, and that's part of the reason why we review it so closely each year.
Great, and let's move on to the very end when we do send out to our members the survey so that they can vote for their product. Wendy, can you just a bit more on how our SIA members evaluate the product that they're voting for with the finalist selection?
Sure. Well, each SIA member in the software division, each company receives one vote. So it's not based on the size of the company. If you're a big company, you don't receive more votes than a smaller company. And the finalists, all the information that after we announce the finalists, each finalist has an opportunity to add some more to their description and provide some more links, put a video in, and all that information you supplied when you first nominated on top of that information is used by the members to evaluate the product.
And just to clarify, each member company gets one vote, so it does not, the size of the company certainly does not come into play, but each member company just gets the one single vote.
Great. And Richard, I'm going to ask you a question and bring you in. In regards to the demos themselves, is there, in your previous experience, a demo that has stood out to you, and what has made it so either intriguing or innovative? Also, do you have a preference on whether a demo can be too long or what the ideal length might be?
Let's okay, Wendy, let's see. Well, intriguing certainly depends on the category of the product. Some demos, particularly for the infrastructure world, can be fairly complex. By the way, that doesn't mean they're not intriguing. It just means they're complex. That's what the product is. That was the reason I made the comment that if you're demoing a product, you might show it both from an administrator perspective as well as a user perspective. And to Wendy's point, I think bearing in mind that you're showing off usability and UI, particularly when you're doing that, as much as features, but no one ever covers all the features. As far as length is concerned, I mentioned a presentation of 10 minutes or maybe even 15 minutes. It can be some discussion back and forth. For the demo itself, I would say 30 minutes is for most people is really about the right time to target. More than that, sometimes it gets to be a bit long. Again, no hard and fast rules, but that's not a bad. That's a good time frame to focus on. And then as far as demos that have really stood out, I won't I don't want to prejudice depending what I could end up judging again. Who knows? But the ones that where obviously the presenters not only knew what they're doing, had that good combination, or the demoers, I should say, that good combination of both technical skills as well as you are selling, and nothing that the people on this call don't do every day when you're demoing for a prospective customer. And probably that's the best way to describe it. Think of it as this is a sales presentation. This is your chance to sell the judge, hopefully whoever's judging your product will, it'll be interactive and be asking you questions. But this is your chance to shine, and hopefully not an opportunity for you to say, "Oops, it's only a demo," which of course we know can happen from time to time. Thanks. Any other questions?
Great. Thank you for that. I'm going to jump back over to Wendy. Wendy, can you tell us, there are so many companies out there in beta mode. Do we allow beta products to be nominated?
We actually do not allow beta products to be nominated. That is one of the rules we have. And as far as the product launch, it has to be, for example, to enter in this year, it needs to be launched prior to October 1st of this year.
Hey, Wendy, it's Richard, and tell me if I'm wrong. Actually, there are products in the market. Certainly Google and others have made it famous by putting beta next to it, but it's a full product in the marketplace. How do you guys handle that? You mean shipping products? I would suspect it has to ship. It could be labeled beta. Is that correct, or not?
They need to have yes, it needs to ship. They need to have customers.
Right. Good.
And actually, Katie, I saw that there was a question on are the companies, nominating companies, able to see the rubric they're graded on. I just want to explain a little bit more about that rubric. It's each criteria, judging criteria, is on a scale of 1 to 5. And 5 being the best and 1 being the least. We break it out. I can give you an example, like if the criteria is ease of use. So 1 would be this product is not easy to use. 2 would be so it's pretty straightforward based on the criteria. 5 would be this product is extremely easy to use. So I just want to clarify that on the rubric.
Great, thank you. Richard, I'm going to go back to you with one last question. So last year we had someone who did a scripted demo that pointed to specific pains, if you will, that they discovered from their prospects, and found that did not work as well last year with the CODiE Award judging. Do you have any differences in demo style that you would recommend?
Okay. I think you broke up a little bit, at least on my end on the audio, but you're just basically saying, what's the best style to use for demoing? Is that what the question was?
Correct.
So I would say, as a person who's done demoing too, I would say that you want a scripted demo, and because that allows you to make sure that you're going to bring out the key points that you want to bring out. Having said that, whoever is doing it needs to know the product well enough to be flexible when a question comes up. But again, as I said earlier, I would treat any demo you're doing for a CODiE judge. Assume you're pitching your best possible prospect, and you want to control the demo. You want to lead the demo, but you want to be flexible enough to be able to ask a question. So that's what I would look for.
Great. Well, on that note, unless there are any other questions that you would like to submit through the chat Q&A box, Wendy, I'll go ahead and hand the reins back over to you.
Great. Thanks, Katie. So we're about to wrap up, and both my contact information and Rihanna's is there. Please do not hesitate at all in the coming weeks to call, email, just about any questions, and please call me as many times as you would like. That's what I'm here for. And I thank everybody for joining us today and participating. And again, this webinar is recorded, so we will have the webinar link sent out to you so that you can review it in your own time. Rihanna, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'd just like to thank everybody and wish everybody good luck. We certainly look forward to seeing your nominations come in and going through this journey with you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand by.